12,000 odd feet of climbing. It is literally up, down, up, down, up, down. It's 120 miles. It's advised that this is done on a mountain bike. The route is tough. So the bike I've chosen for this challenge is the Giant Revolt X. It's a gravel bike. It's got 42mm tyres on it. I think it's got a 52 tooth cassette on the back. Got a dropper post. Front fork. Actually, there's very little that separates it from a hardtail mountain bike, apart from the fact that it's got curly bars on it and a pretty aggressive frame. So here we are at Conway Castle in the north of Snowdonia, about to head down the Snowdonia way. Yeah, got 120 miles in front of us, so with about 12,000 feet of climbing. We have got very nice weather today. It was very windy yesterday and it rained, but today it's completely calm. We've even got a bit of sunshine as well, so feeling quite positive about making my way down through the mountain range. Just going to roll out of the castle now and see you on the journey. First climb of the day was baptism of fire, actually, because it came within the first mile. Brutal. Right, in or over, in or over, in or over. We're going in. I managed to cover about 10 miles in the first 2 hours, which is very, very slow. Lots of standing water as well, made going very, very tough indeed. There were gates aplenty. I think I counted about 20 in the first hour. Any sections of tarmac were embraced with an open set of brakes. My introduction to long distance riding was Le Jog, Land's End to John O'Groats. And yeah, I didn't even use clipless pedals. I used a pair of Reebok Classics. But yeah, somehow they propelled me all the way to the furthest reaches of the British Isles, and I didn't have any fueling strategy as well. I managed to sort of knock out, on average, about 80 to 90 miles a day. And yeah, I wasn't like fueling it like I would now. I was sort of fueling with, Greg's featured quite highly, quite highly out there, as did, the day was often concluded with a visit to the local kebab shop for a hearty portion of mystery meat. That is still a standout point of my life. Second, of course, to when my children were born. The jog was amazing, and it gave me a real buzz about cycling long distances, so much so that the year after I rode from the bottom of France to the top. With the jog, it was a case of I rode myself fit. I mean, the first few days are really hard because you start in Cornwall and Devon, which are probably the toughest 2 days of the whole event. There wasn't any blood, but there was certainly sweat, and there were tears, and there was a lot of blue language as well. Some of the trails were custom designed for this bike, in particular the Slate Trail, which was one of my favourite parts of the trip. During the afternoon, it rained, yeah, the heavens opened, and I spent much of the ascent out of Betsy Coed just getting drenched and covered in sort of residue from the slate trails. So yeah, it was tough going up there. But you know, the views were always incredible. I think any long distance ride is best tackled in the summer, unless you're a real masochist. You want to do it in darkness and rain, which we did to a degree. So the rain didn't stop, so on went the rain jacket, on went the gloves, and on went the journey. Travelling from north to south, I think it's the first and the last climbs of the route that are actually the toughest. I mean, you're regularly going over 500 metres. I think the definition of a mountain is 700 metres. So yeah, but you're regularly up there, yeah. This would be a lovely route to do in the summer, where you could sort of bare your legs and arms and smother yourself in sun cream and let the sun do its work. When I got halfway, yeah, I was actually quite buoyed that I was halfway, you know, because obviously halfway always marks a sort of landmark, really. So yeah, you could start counting down the miles then. If I was to give advice to anyone that wanted to take on a similar challenge, I'd say go for it. Got nothing to lose. Look at the scale, you know, make sure you've got the right tool for the job. Make sure you've done the right amount of training on the terrain you're going to be cycling over, and yeah, don't look back, go for it. felt a little bit tired, you know, during some of the climbs, but as long as there's enough food and water available, everything should theoretically be good to go. Well, the last descent, it worked twofold because A, it was an amazing descent with amazing views, and it was ultimately dropping down into the finish in Machynlleth. That was a real treat. So I was really happy with the bike. I had no issues with it whatsoever. So, you know, there were some sections where I could have done with some fatter tyres, some rear suspension, but you're never going to have the perfect tool for this job. So I'm actually convinced that this is as near as possible the best bike for this particular course. It was a different experience. Obviously, you know, you were out in the wilds of Snowdonia, and it was a really good achievement. It was lovely to ride, but also lovely to finish as well. You know, like I've said before, no one's holding a gun to my head. You know, I'm doing this because I want to, and if ever, you know, you feel like, oh, woe is me, I'm really, really tired, you've just got to remind yourself that, you know, you chose to do it. You know, I should feel privileged to be able to get up and ride or run or walk great swathes of the country or the earth. I mean, for me, yeah, it's very much a privilege.